So traders, I'll be tracking about four different. There's the short, so there's the sell. So our low on that candle there is at 54, so 53 would be our entry. So there's our entry there as a sell at 53, and you can see the automation's taken that trade straight up off that short. Now, if you're happy to take the trade, so this is interesting. If you're happy to take the trade based on it triggering, then most of the time you'll get a much better fill, because I think almost on every trade there's a retracement of some degree. So you've probably got about 20% or less, maybe 15% of the trades that don't retrace. The rest are, you've got 75% that retrace a certain percentage and then they either go or some of them will stop out, obviously. The stop on that trade is at 111.68. So if you're happy to take the trade, then getting in at 58 or 60 is just going to reduce your average losing trade, isn't it? If you're happy to take the trade anyway, why would you wait for it to, if your goal is to get in on the trade setting up, why would you wait for it to break? You're better off to go in where it is now at 58, and even if it does take you out, you've got a 10-point losing trade that you were going to take anyway, regardless. So, but if your goal is to trade the break, like it's still got to break that low, then you're better off just leaving it there, because you'll find that some of the trades don't actually trigger in patiently. Now, the good thing about this is, the great thing about the strategy backtest is it's done all the heavy lifting for us. It's already tested when we should be trading, so we don't have to waste our time sitting here for 3 hours thinking that we need to be trading for 2 or 3 hours, when the reality is that these trend setups work best between 8:30 and 9 o'clock. I've got to test a couple of other time slots in this US session, and it works beautifully between 2 and 5. It works sensationally between 1802 and 23:59. So for those of you who are trading the US end of the US session, great time there, very profitable. So there's just these little pockets of time that are very, very profitable, and it's been like that for a while now, for at least 6 months, so possibly longer, but I noticed it a while ago and it's been consistent. So we'll just continue to monitor that, and as I mentioned before, I'll be tracking these every day so you can compare your settings with how the system's running. So you can see there that taking the breakout, which I generally do 1 point below, that's kept me out of that trade, and that trade is out. So my rule is generally 1 point above, 1 point below, depending on whether it's long or short. And now we've got a potential buy set up. So here's the buy, there's the level of resistance. So again, we need to wait for that to close above. There it is. So it's a point above the high. The high on that candle is at 73, so we're looking for a trade at 74. Not really too worried about this area here, because we've got a higher area here, which is a swing high. So I'm not going to get too hung up about that. But definitely got the 74 level as a buy. So based on my trade plan, we've had no trades yet on the automation. There's been, because remember the automation doesn't work a 1 point breakout. We can set it to do that. So if you want to set that to have a 1 point breakout, you can actually do that, and it won't take the trade until it breaks the high. So at the moment we've had zero trade, just waiting for this to get us in. Now on a 55 tick chart, they're going to be small trades, so don't expect, they're not going to be very big trades, so you'll definitely be trading with a smaller risk profile. The higher the tick chart, the bigger the trade profile, potentially the more risk you've got in the market. The interesting thing is that by combining the breakout strategy, the trend trader and the cycle trader, we come up with some very, very nice numbers for crude. And just get a bit of an idea, what time frame or what time period, so what time of the day do you think the cycle trader, now the cycle trader, we haven't done much work on that in this room yet, we haven't done any training on it, but basically the cycle trader trades between support and resistance, so it sells off resistance and buys off support, so basically would sell here, buy here, sell there. So when do you think that might work its best? I don't know if I've already given that away yet. When do you think that potentially would be? Yeah, I haven't tested it between the Euro and US, but that's a good point, Jim. Between 5 and 7 would be probably ideal. What I've tested is between 12 and 2, and it's phenomenal. Yeah, it's very, very good. So lunch hour, so that's automatically, I'm going to test the S&P between 12 and 2, see how good that comes up as well. Right, traders, so we've got 12 minutes left for our time of the day, one of the 4 that we've discussed today. So the three session times that I've mentioned today for the different strategies. So for the trend, we have 8:35 to 9 a.m. We have 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. So that's just for the trend trader. For the breakout, I better get that right on the chart. So we've still got a buy here at 111.74. For the breakout trade, we are looking for 18:02, this is US time, to 23:59, so midnight. So it's US time. That is a great time for overnight crude futures for the breakout strategy. And we're just triggered into the long here on crude, so the long is set up. So we just need to concentrate back on the charts here. Our high is 74, so that gives us our trade set up. Our stop at the moment is there at 60 and just working its way up to 61. So depending on what you've tested or where your strategy is going to play, you can work a stop on the green dots, or you can work at 2 points below, 2 points above. So you've got a few options there in relation to your stop strategy. So you don't have to do what I've got as part of the trade plan, but that's what I've tested on. Actually, we need to go back to the strategy and just work out what is. So it's -2. Okay, so the offset on that is -2. That's what's given us those good results. So we need to stick with that. So starting to move up now. So we move our stop up accordingly. Up now at 62. Stops at 62, and it's a trailing stop. So not a fixed target, but a trailing stop. Now, as I mentioned before, if you're going to work a fixed target, it should be at least close to 2 to 1 as possible. So you'd want to be going for 25 to 30 points or more on your trade. Nothing less than 25 on this strategy. So with your testing, remember with that data that we showed you before with the strategy tester, that's just working off a trailing stop. So that gives you an opportunity to go back through those trades and just mark up what the profit potential was on those trades. So at the moment we're just seeing this push up. So 111.66, so 64 is our stop. So we now run this all the way until we get taken out. And now our stop there is at 69. Now the other thing to remember with that strategy test I did, there's absolutely no money management with that, so no position sizing. So for those of you who have gone through the money management program, and I think only Nick's gone through it here, the potential improvement you can do to those numbers is phenomenal if you combine a second strategy and you use a ratio method. So that's the exciting part about the add-on to the V2. So 111.74 is our stop, and we take it down. 73 is our stop now. So basically we're just watching this in real time, just seeing if this thing will push up and give us a nice first up winner for the week. So our stop's at 75. So either way we can't, so our entry was at 74. So let me just mark that on the chart. And our stop is now at 86. And stop is there at 86. Anybody tracking this in simulation? Or so that's the trade there. Excellent. So we'll see if we just break this area here. So we've made a just come down and made a higher low there, which is what we want to see. And we just want to see this area hold now. So we go up to here. Our stop's at 86, so we've got a good little profit here. And as I mentioned before, the key for us is to not just be trading the 8:30 to 9, but just be hitting our other time of the day. Now, I did talk to Nick about the 2 to 5 time slot. If you do take an hour off that time, Nick, and make it 2 to 4, it doesn't do as well over 3 months, the first 3 months, as it does over the last 3. So you probably will need to just keep that open to 2 to 5. The advantage of having the automation is you can just run it and just make sure it takes the trade when you set it up. So I think you will definitely need to leave it open between 2 and 5. But I'll have a look tomorrow to see how it looks. Between the Euro session, Jim. So guys, this week is all about building the trade plan for the trend trader. So what I'm going to be doing over the next month with the V2 is obviously looking at each strategy, giving each strategy a good week of training. So it's not going to, we're going to have the trend trader down pat within probably about 2 days, because it's very, very easy, very simple. It's a nice clean strategy. There's not a lot to it. It's just nice and easy. And that'll give us a little bit more time on our other strategies. So you can see we're starting to push up now. Our stop working up as well. We've just got to get above that 112. Here we go. So this is good, obviously, for our equity graph. So we won't be making new equity highs, but we're certainly pushing